2022 planning board meeting to order. Allison, do we have a flag that we can stream through, or should we do the Pledge of Allegiance?
I don't have one. I don't know if Adam can stream one or if we can just say it.
Hey, Ralph, just I'll be able to share the screen. I got one bookmarked from when we were remote before. Hang on one second. We lost Ralph momentarily. Uh-oh. For those who joined us, we're having some technical difficulty with our vice chair for the evening here. Getting him in.
Okay, I'm back. Everybody hear me?
I hear you.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let's just start with the Pledge of Allegiance, if we could, please. I pledge allegiance
Pledge
Pledge allegiance
to the flag, to the United
of the
States of
United States
America,
of America,
and to the republic
Republic,
which it stands,
for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
one nation,
under God,
under
under God,
indivisible,
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 with liberty and
liberty,
justice for all.
justice for all.
Okay. There we go. Okay. I guess we'll start out off with some housekeeping notes in regards to organizational meetings. Our meetings will be held 2 times a month on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of each month. And meetings will commence at 7 o'clock, either at the town court room or the community room, currently via Zoom. I'd like to make the appointments. The town board has appointed Allison Lovely as the planning board secretary and Joseph Slater as the planning board attorney at the January 3rd, 2022 organizational meeting. I'd like to make a motion to hereby approve those appointments. And also, are we approving a vice chairperson at this time?
I think you can hold
Okay.
off on that, Ralph.
That's fine. We'll wait for Matt to come back. So would someone like to second the motion?
I'll second it.
So moved. Roll call, please.
Roll called as follows: Acting Chairman Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Panton, skip Mr. Panton for now.
Yes,
Mr. Berg.
yes, yes.
Okay, Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Gill,
Yes.
motion,
Kind of lost you, Allison. You still there?
yes, sorry, motion carried by 6-0 vote.
Thank you. Along the same lines, I'd also like to make a motion to accept and approve the proposed 2022 meeting calendar. Can I have a motion to please approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call, please.
I got John Conway for the second. Roll call as follows. Acting Chairman Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Miss Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Miss Gill.
Yes.
Motion carried by 6-0 vote.
Thank you. I guess we'll start with all business. First on the agenda is Carver Court, Upper Mannix Road, major cluster subdivision. I believe they're here seeking a negative secret determination. Are they someone here for Carver like to speak in regards to this project?
Give me 1 second, Ralph, to unmute the applicant's team here. You guys should be able to unmute yourselves, Don, Nick, and Brett.
Good evening. My name is Donald Z. With the development team. With me is Brett Steenberg, the engineer, and Nick Laraway, who is also of the project team. We are seeking a conditional negative declaration. The reason why it's conditional is because there's a question that is being finalized with the town of East Greenbush between the Regeneron project and the town of East Greenbush. Regeneron had submitted an engineer's report, which deals with the sewer capacities and the improvements to the pump station. We are part of that development project, and DEC and the Department of Health for the county are currently reviewing that report. Pretty much everybody's on board with it, but we're waiting the final sign-offs of that with regard to and that's why we're seeking a conditional negative declaration rather than a full negative declaration. I believe all the other issues have been addressed through our Brett Steenberg's engineer's report, which covered stormwater, and we had a traffic consultant, VHB, submit a report. Archaeology has been addressed, wetlands have been addressed, and all the other technical matters. And I believe the town TDE as well as town staff have reviewed that, and we have a concurrence with the parties as to what are minor and medium and other impacts, all of which can be mitigated through the development of this project.
Adam, would you like to comment or make any added comments to the project before we present it to the board?
Thank you, Vice Chair Viola. Just quickly, the condition neg deck, as Don stated, is needed in this case because there's necessary action that is not under the applicant's control that is needed in order to mitigate the potential effects of the negative environmental effects of the proposed action. And that, as Don said, that's the sewer system, which the town is undertaking. And I think we've briefed the board a few times on the project to upgrade the 3rd Ave and Barracks pump stations. So if you look in, and we're actually closing on the land that we need from the cemetery for the 3rd Ave station, scheduled for Monday. As Don said, DEC has been reviewing this. Regeneron will be submitting an application to increase their flows from their current permitted amounts of 100 GPM up to 190. Carver Court is behind that. And we need to upgrade portions of the gravity system for Regeneron. There's about, I think it's about 1,300 feet that Regeneron needs to upgrade. And there's portions of the additional portions of the gravity system between 6 and 8 segments totaling between 2,500 and 3,000 feet that the applicant is going to need to upgrade as part of the Carver Court project. So that's, as Don stated, that's the reason for the condition neg deck. And there's really only one, we can do a condition neg deck in this case because it's an unlisted action under seeker. And we have a full environmental assessment form. We provided, after working with the applicant and our consultants to the board, the filled out part 2 and part 3. The one, you'll see the conditions in the packet for tonight. The one issue additional with the condition neg deck is that there's a 30-day public comment period that will start tomorrow when we have to post this to the DEC's website.
Adam, if I also may add, with regard to the downstream improvements, not only is Regeneron anticipating making the improvements, and as you had indicated, there's approximately 6, 7 sections that the Carver Court development team would make improvements to. But part of it all, of the improvements, not only making improvements to handle our flows, the town has requested, and we have agreed to, as part of our project, put I'm going to say buffer, an excess capacity of 100 gallons that the town has requested, and we are in agreement with that. So as we go forward, if this project gets approved by this board, we would have that, the town would have the additional buffer. So we're not at the maximum capacity. There's additional capacity that would be added through the efforts of Carver Court.
Yeah, thank you, Don. That's about a 12 to 15% reserve capacity. It's 100 gallons per minute of peak flow. And just to be clear, the project to upgrade the 2 stations, the force main, and 1,300 feet of gravity sewer is the town's project. It's funded by Regeneron, Empire State Development, and the town of East Greenbush. It's a public-private partnership.
This Kirk Bergman you mentioned about the traffic report in there, and I don't recall seeing that if that was updated or not, because was some previous discussions on the issue with cut-through traffic on Thompson Hill Road that exists now, and then this project with 130 residences will significantly increase that cut-through from Mannix Road to Troy Road via the residents up there going either way, which continues now to be an issue and will significantly increase. Was that addressed in the traffic report? Was that updated?
Yes, it was updated, and we had proposed some mitigation for that. One is putting signage and limiting, precluding traffic going west on Mannix Road from making a right-hand turn into Thompson Hill Road. We had proposed that in our traffic analysis. In addition, we talked about putting in potential what we call speed bumps along Thompson Hill Road to reduce speeds, to also make it a potential and make it detrimental for people to try to use it as a cut through. We had offered, with regards to the speed bumps, if the town desired it, we could make them what we call seasonal, where they could be removed in the wintertime to avoid problems with plowing. I think the Department of Public Works was looking at that idea, and they had talked about the possibility of making the speed bumps rather than a small hump, making it extended, and we would be willing to do that as well, whatever the town would be looking for. So in response to your question, yes, the report was supplemented, and we had added those as proposed recommendations for improvements.
Have you got, and you're waiting to hear feedback from the Department of Public Works? Was there any?
I think we're waiting to hear back not only from the Department of Public Works, but from this board, because ultimately, once we get beyond seeker, it'd be part of the next part of the presentations and everything. We have offered that. It's something that the town planning board, along with town staff, would, I guess, digest and then give us their ultimate desires.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Don, where did you say that there was going to be a left turn prohibited?
Right-hand turn as you
Right-hand,
go
oh.
east into Thompson, going west on Mannix Road. So that means anybody leaving Carver Court, taking a right to go towards Route 4 would be precluded from making a right-hand turn into Thompson Hill Road. There would be a prohibited no right-hand turn into Thompson Hill. And that would also act as other traffic that would come on Mannix Road in that direction. They would be precluded as well. So it would not only preclude the Carver Court residents, but also anybody else traversing west, I'm sorry, my direction, on Thompson Hill, and they would go to Route 4.
But is that just going to be a signage that says no right turn?
Well, I think because if the town approves it and it goes, if the planning board approves it and then it goes to the town board and it's put in there, because of its proximity to Route 4 State Highway, it would be, from my understanding of vehicle and traffic law, any right-hand turns in that direction would be a violation and subject to ticketing.
Yeah, and so we did discuss that, if I could jump in, with DPW. And Kurt, to answer your question, the Commissioner Fiacco was not especially interested in placing speed bumps up there. And I think the part of what was in the traffic study is that, the 65% would travel, there would be not all of those trips, about 35% of the trips would go east on Mannix Road, according to the study. The other thing is that instead of the no right turn sign, which the applicant's traffic engineers questioned the placement so close to the roundabout where you have to make a right at the roundabout. The idea would be to place a sign that's similar to the one at Annabelle Lane off of Route 4, where it essentially says, no through traffic. So that's kind of where we are. And I wanted to make one other point about the negative declaration in front of the board tonight. The board will have the chance to reopen seeker if there were new pieces of information to emerge, especially with regard to the sewer. And then I think the board, and Joe can probably chime in on this too, would probably want to reaffirm seeker at the time the preliminary plat is issued. So this is not the action that the board would take tonight is not the final word on seeker.
Yeah, I mean, the only.
Well, in that regard, can I ask what are we getting if we approve a conditional neg deck? How does that move the project ahead? It seems like we're approving something and yet it's not really approved because there's issues remaining.
Yeah, what it does is it allows the board to hold a public hearing.
I see.
And the applicant submitted a preliminary plat, the technical submission earlier this afternoon. So presuming the board, it approves the issuance, the adoption of this condition neg deck tonight, we do the public hearing next week, and then potentially consider issuing preliminary plat approval next week. The week and a half, the 2 weeks would allow our TDE to review it and to make recommendations on the technical aspects. And then the other piece of the approval at this point is a development agreement ultimately between the town board and the planning board, setting forth basically the timeframes, roles, responsibilities, clarifying who's responsible for what, and how certain financial aspects of this would be handled. That would ultimately be between the town board and the applicant, but the idea would be to have the planning board make a recommendation on that document as well, which also really codifies the framework. I mean, it's in, this thing will be built out over the course of 3-4 years, presumably. So that will be a kind of a touchstone for those involved now and then in the future.
So Adam, how are we going to be sure with this conditional approval tonight that Kurt's issues are addressed?
So we have between now and the preliminary plat, we have time to go back to the Commissioner of Public Works. We could do a separate meeting with the commissioner if the board desires. Ultimately, it would be a condition of preliminary plat approval, Ralph, I think.
It just seems to me that a little reconfiguration of that intersection with a little having it turn slightly to the roundabout rather than a T intersection may defer people from turning right onto Thompson Hill Road. I don't know if it's feasible, but making it a slight turn to the roundabout before the stop sign may stop people from taking that right, because they've got to go like to the center of the road and then turn back in. I don't know if it's possible.
Ralph, just to be clear, you're suggesting realigning the intersection, of Thompson Hill with Mannix Road?
Just slightly, just bending it, so to speak, towards the roundabout. So if you're coming down Mannix Road to the roundabout, you're making it difficult to make that right-hand turn. It's a suggestion. As we all know, signs don't always work.
Yes,
Seems
it's something like that. And also I would be interested in the Commissioner of Public Works view, because those humps that he was not happy with about plowing versus a speed bump with a B, there's a big difference. Currently, the rail trail has several speed humps with an H, which is not a problem for plows, or at least we have them all over town. So saying that is not convenient for them, it doesn't satisfy me in that regards. And
I think,
Yep.
Kurt, I think if I can, and I think the commissioner probably, we should either do this by email or have maybe a separate, Kurt, maybe between you and Dan, or I don't know exactly how best to do it, but I think his position when we discussed this, and it's not about the snow and ice operations. I think it was just his feeling was that the amount of traffic diverting through there would most likely not warrant the additional infrastructure up there, especially if we had that sign and the 35% of trips go to the east. So, but I think it's probably better not for me to to convey that, or not to go much further. Probably better to hear it from him.
If I may, we recognize, I think, Mr. Bergman, that from the beginning, the residents' concerns with regard to traffic, cut through traffic. That's why we've offered speed bumps or speed humps or whatever is necessary. And what I can think about offering potentially to address it is if the Commissioner of Public Works says it's not necessary now, we can also talk about it of setting the cost of putting in speed humps in the future aside in escrow, so that when the development is completed and the residents experience have the full experience of Carver Court being built out, and there's the need, the funds will be set aside for the future development for placement of speed humps if they become necessary in the opinion.
I appreciate that as an option. However, I understand that, but there's a problem now without Carver Court. Again, and I'm seeing that I just can't see cutting from there to go to Walmart's is the easiest distances between straight lines, and that's what people do now, and vice versa. So I don't see that as, pushing the problem out later.
As I said, we're willing to do whatever the planning board requests, but it's obviously out of our hands what
Right.
DPW
Understand.
says.
All right, thank you.
Are there any other comments? Don?
I agree with Adam. I think it should have signs, no through traffic, like at Annabelle Lane. That seems to work. I used to live up there, and I grew up there. And they're not going to go through well, they will if they want to disobey the law, but it should be no through traffic signs.
Noreen, any comments? John, Jack, are we all set?
Well, I recognize the issue here with traffic as well, but I think it seems like the object here is to get to the public hearing and move the project along a little bit. And I think we should have adequate time after that to further address the traffic issues on Maddox Road. So I'm good.
Okay. Chris?
Yeah, I'm good. I echo John's comment. We should just get to the public hearing. To me, I can't speak to the speed issue. I'm not really familiar with that area as well, but the turn and, just a sign saying no turn is what's more concerning to me, and how close that comes in. I don't know if there's any proposals if changing a curb cut, would do anything to prohibit that turn. Probably not, but that's my bigger concern.
Kurt, any final comments?
No, I think that's good. I agree with John that moving it forward is probably the best way to bring this out. Thank you. And Adam's suggestion about something with the Department of Public Works.
And I'll just add, I just have been reviewing the report, the draft report, and it does say at the end to address, it's a recommendation, so it's in writing here, recommending that they do put some signage on Mannix and Thomas Hill Road, that only local traffic is permitted. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you. So I guess with that, I'd like to make a motion for Carver Court, Upper Mannix Road, major cluster subdivision. Sorry, did everybody hear that?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't hear it.
I'm sorry. It looks like I lost conductivity there for a minute. Carver Court, Upper Mannix Road, the major cluster subdivision. I'd like to make a motion. We still losing everybody?
I heard we like to make a motion. I heard that.
Wow, this is tough. I don't know whether it's
I'll
me or
second the
whatever.
motion, Ralph.
But I like to, would you second it, Chris?
I would second it, yes.
Okay, we're seeking a conditional negative secret determination. Seconded by Mrs. Horn. All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Yep, I'll roll call. Acting Chairman Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Ms. Gill.
Yes.
Motion carried by 6-0 vote.
Thank you. In regards to that, I'd like to make a motion to schedule a public hearing in regards to the Carver Court, Upper Mannix Road, major 110 lot cluster subdivision, scheduled for February 9th, 2022 at the East Greenbush Town Hall or via Zoom at 7 p.m. In order to receive public comment on the proposed preliminary plat for the Carver Court major cluster subdivision. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Roll call as follows. Acting Chairman Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Ms. Conway,
Yes.
or Mr. Conway, sorry, Ms. Gill.
Yes.
Motion carried by 6-0 vote.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yep. Next on the agenda, DeGiulio 44 Tanner's Lane minor subdivision. Do we have someone here representing the DeGiulios tonight? Brian? Would you like to give us a little history on where we are, or a little background?
Sure. Good evening, everybody. I am Brian Holbritter, licensed land surveyor. My clients are Michael and Mary and DeGiulio. They live on Tanner's Lane. They own a house at 44 Tanner's Lane and also own a home at 40 Tanner's Lane. And what we're proposing to do is create a new lot in between those two lots for a new house. Mr. and Mrs. DeGiulio wish to downsize. They'd like to sell their existing home at 44 Tanner's Lane to their daughter and son-in-law and build a new smaller home on this new proposed lot 2. We had a good meeting last night with the zoning board regarding our 2 variances that we are seeking for the minimal road frontage. We've got 37.5 feet where 75 is required for lot 1, and we've got 39.3 feet for frontage on lot 2 where 75 is required. So that meeting went really well. We had a public hearing, no public comment other than some positive public comment. And I think they're waiting for this board to do a seeker determination for us to go back and kind of finalize with them. So.
Thank you. This has been before us for a few meetings now. Kurt, any comments? No. Don, any comments?
Yeah, I did that. I did that myself, so I had a positive recommendation. I still stick with that.
Okay. Noreen,
No, no questions. Thanks.
no questions? Mr. Conway?
Yeah,
Conway?
as you say, I think we've seen this a few times before, and this is one of these cul-de-sac issues, I guess. We don't have a separate frontage regulation for cul-de-sac, so I'd be interested to see what the zoning board does do with it, but I think for seeker purposes, I'm okay.
Chris?
Yeah,
Any comments?
I'm okay too. Yeah, Brian, you said that there were some positive public comments with the zoning board,
Yeah, that is correct. Yep.
the cul-de-sac neighbors were involved in
Yep,
that.
there was a few neighbors online last night. No one had any negative comments other than we had one person who had positive comments saying, you know, it seemed like there was plenty of land. He didn't see why he thought it would be any type of problem. So.
Okay. Great.
Was there
Adam?
any, I'm just curious, any discussion about I think we talked about the driveway needing to be moved? Did that come?
The
in
existing
topic?
driveway on lot 1.
Yeah,
We're proposing to just grant an easement over that small triangle on lot 2 so that the driveway on lot 1 will not be an issue. And that is shown on the drawing.
Okay.
Adam, any comments before we continue?
No, I think we're all set, from a negative declaration standpoint. And that's, we sent that around, we finalized it yesterday evening. Although, the site was flagged for his, archaeological sensitivity. There's enough evidence of prior disturbance there that I think, the board would be comfortable or should be comfortable, putting that issue to bed. I think the other thing that we might need to deal with on the preliminary plat is stormwater management. Right now, the negative declaration reads just as the part 1 does, which it's as essentially stormwater drainage would flow as it does now out to Tanner's Lane. And we don't have any evidence that there are any issues with drainage on Tanner's. But I think we should see from the applicant, or at least get a little more clarity on how exactly the grading is going to happen, especially to avoid drainage to either lot, any exacerbating of drainage there, and just probably more like a grading plan, showing something, swales on either side, just to operationalize that finding.
Okay. All righty, with that, I'd like to make a motion for a negative declaration in regards to the DeGiulio 40 Tanner's Lane minor subdivision.
I'll second it, Ralph.
Thank you. All in favor?
Roll call as follows. Acting Chairman Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Ms. Gill.
Yes.
Motion carried by 6-0 vote.
No, you're all set. Thank you, Mr. DeGiulio. Thank you, Brian.
Okay, thank you, board
Next, I'd
members.
like to make a motion to schedule a public hearing. Next, I'd like to make a motion to schedule a public hearing for the DeGiulio minor 2-lot subdivision at 4044 Tanner's Lane. The public hearing is hereby scheduled for February 9th, 2022 at the East Greenbush Town Hall or via Zoom at 7 p.m. in order to receive public comment on the proposed plat for the DeGiulio minor subdivision in accordance with Article 4, Section 3D of the town subdivision regulations and Section 276 of the New York State Town Law. Second,
Second.
roll
Roll
call,
call
please.
as, roll call as
Sorry.
follows. That's okay. Acting Chairman Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Ms. Gill.
Yes.
Motion carried by 6-0 vote.
Great. Thank you. Next, I guess we'll move on to new business. First on the agenda is C&T East Greenbush LLC, seeking a minor site plan modification. Did we lose, can you guys still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Are you guys able to hear me? It's just-
We hear you.
Oh, Mr. Hart.
so happy to hear from you, aren't you, Ralph? You guys can
Oh,
hear
I
me?
sure am. Kind of in and out with me, Steve. I don't know. Can everybody else hear him okay?
Think so, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So I think
Your name, please, for the record.
Steve Hart with Hart Engineering. Anna, do you by chance have that screen to share? Are you guys able to see that? And I do have a map behind me as well. You guys have a
Yes.
copy of what we were trying to show?
Yes, it was included, Steve.
In a nutshell, you guys have all seen this before because it's really part of what was the town center project. And it was a site behind us where it's a self-storage buildings. And we had shown some access drives because when we construct town center, the current access drive, which is running up the left side of their property line, is going to get cut off. So what we need to do is to construct a new driveway off of the new road that we build. So we're building about 500 feet of road, which is coming off 9 and 20 and running into the back of the site. So basically, there you go there. We're developing the front area of the site for buildings A and B, and then we got building F on the other side, which let's say is by where Webb's food stand is. So the light gray shades you see there on the top of this page is the road that we're building as part of Town Center Phase 1. In the darker area, the gray shade, and it says proposed 24-foot wide paved access drive, that's in essence the road that we're planning to construct, or we need to construct to provide access back to the self-storage place. So in essence, that's what this site plan modification is that we have in front of you. So most of what you see on that map as far as our roadways and the curved road with the boulevard entrance in between is what's being proposed, and let's say 98% approved by the planning board, and the dark gray shade is showing a site plan modification for a new roadway to be constructed across that area there. And there's also some very minor fence and gate relocation. If any of you use that site now, you drive down that long access road that's existing, and there's a existing fencing and a remote controlled gate there. So that has to be relocated over to the new paved access drive as well. And again, most all of these features were shown in the approval phases for town center that we had looked at for a number of years. And then what we had done near the tail end of that is we took anything out of our 580 Columbia Turnpike property limits, and if it was part of 590, we made separate applications. So we did discuss that at a few different planning board meetings.
Okay.
So in essence, that's what you have in front of you there.
I'd like to start. Adam, do you have any comments?
Yeah, so what I think in summary, what I think I'd recommend is for the planning board, and I'll kick this to Anna for any technical comments in a second, to kick this to our TDE for their review, as well as our special counsel, which we have not been able to do yet. In order to make sure that the relationship between this site plan and town center is clear. For example, we need to see some of the easements, depicted graphically on here that are existing and proposed. Some of the property ownership, for example. Another big issue that I think we addressed in, if not in our comments to the board last Friday, Anna's comments, then in the draft approval resolution, the timing of the change in access here is an issue. It's dependent on work that must be done with town center. So if town center for some reason doesn't proceed, then the access wouldn't change. We wouldn't want to be approving something. The board probably would not want to approve something that would be, have access basically not onto a public way. So I think we have a way to do that. But to make sure all of this kind of hangs together and is in keeping with the stipulations of the town board, with the PDD local law and all of that, I think what we would request, and I'll let Anna weigh in too, is, another, that the board continue this until the next meeting so that we can get a chance to complete the technical review and get our consultants, look at it. Do you have anything else to add, Anna, Ralph, if I may?
I saw, Adam, that you had comments since, I left work earlier today, so I haven't really had a time to look at those. I will say that Tyler did approve the TDE looking at it on Monday. We spoke with him. So the TDE does have that, the town center, which is CPL, Ray Drakowski or George Schmidt now. So they are aware of it and do have that to review.
And thank you, Anna. The thing with the applicant's concurrence is the way the escrow accounts are set up. That would be, we want to be careful about how money is spent, make sure it's linked back to particular projects. I think there's a good argument here. We just, that this could be reviewed under the town center banner and escrow account that was set up, but we just needed the applicant to weigh in on that.
So one question I have, Steve, is this proposed driveway that you're going to install, is this going to be on the Storage Solutions property when this is all said and done?
That is correct, Ralph. The whole dark shade that you see on that map is all within the property lines of storage, the self-storage facility, 590 Columbia Turnpike.
Okay, so what was what's the modification that we're looking for that was different from the original town center plat that you presented?
Not really anything, Ralph. The difference is that we took any work that we were proposing as part of town center that we had on the 590 parcel. We basically just took it off that and we brought it in front of you here. So
okay,
so there's really no difference shown on the map other than it was a different parcel of property, and 590 was not part of our PDD for 580. So it probably was not proper that we were showing that or almost insinuating an approval for this work that's on a different parcel of land.
okay.
Steve, can you show me something on that map? I see the access road. Does that go into Storage Solutions?
This access road right here, Don, if you can
Yeah.
see the gray shade, the answer is yes.
And this is where your rulers, is that Storage Solutions?
That's correct. This brown building here is Storage Solutions.
Oh, okay. Because I see the road at the top just ends, right? At the
Right
very
here?
top. Yeah.
Yes, yep. So coming off the highway here, Don, on the right side of the map, this is our whole access drive that was part of the town center phase 1 approval. And those
All right.
3 buildings that are phase 1 was building A here, building B here, and building F over here.
Okay. So the dark path is just for Storage Solutions.
That is
Right.
correct.
All right. I was confused on that. Okay.
Okay,
Kurt,
can I ask
have any-
about
Sorry,
can
go
I ask
ahead.
about the existing driveway to Storage Solutions? You say that will be removed, and I understand there's a timing issue there, but how will it be removed? And is there going to be a building on top of where that is now, or is that going to be still the other access around the town center?
That would be the other access, John, around town center. So the
Okay.
building's very close. It might be within 5 feet of where the road is now. So there's a chance that, some access to that would be able to remain in place while we're putting the building in, but it's very close. So until we stake that out and, you're digging 5 foot deep for building foundations and things of that nature. So, we got to look at the safety aspect of it as well.
Right,
So
okay.
just to the top of that, John, which is to the north, is where building A is going to be situated, right in this area here.
Right,
So this is the current access. That's the current access going into self-storage now. The new building is, let's say, within 5 feet of where the top side of that driveway is.
and that would be where the drive-through is, the drive-through
That's
window and
correct.
all
So in the future, that's going to be the lane. I think we had it one way out only. So that'll be the exit only by the drive-through.
Thank you.
Chris, any comments?
Nope, I'm good.
Good. Kurt?
No comment.
Mr. Slater, have anything you want to weigh in on?
No, so I guess the action tonight by the board would be to accept the sketch plat and potentially wait on conditional approval at the next meeting. Does that sound accurate?
Everybody good with that?
Ralph, if I may, one other question, there's the plan shows a sign on there. Steve, can you talk through what that sign would look like and how it's related to the PDD signage provisions?
Yeah, so there's an existing sign in the bottom right-hand corner closest to where Hannaford Plaza would be. I believe my understanding that at least it used to be like a yellow sign with self-storage written on it. I think the intent is that it's moved right up here, right near the black, the dark shade, I should say, on where the asphalt would be. So that would be the intent. I'm not sure signage on 590 would really have been part of the 580 clause, and unless we did call it out of there, Adam, and I'm not sure, you know, if we said because of the sign being there that we were going to be able to relocate it and put it on 590. And if not, I guess that would be part of the site plan modification, I guess, for 590, because they really at some point wouldn't have any signage back here for anybody traversing this road here. I do believe they're going to have some signage up here in the front. We were giving them a small spot on one of our existing signs. But the intent would be is to have signage back here by the dark shade by the access road.
So Steve, as far as you believe the existing sign that's on 9 and 20 now will be removed?
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? With that, I'd like to make a motion to accept sketch plat approval for C&T East Greenbush LLC, 590 Columbia Turnpike.
I'll second.
Ralph, I just chime in and ask you to change your language on that and just say,
Please.
Accept the sketch plan.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to accept this sketch plan for C&T East Greenbush LLC, 590 Columbia Turnpike. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Roll
Roll
call as
call.
follows. Acting Chairman Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Ms. Gill.
Yes.
Motion carried by 6-0 vote.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you all.
Hart.
All right, we'll be in touch. Thank you.
I don't know if it's just me, but is everybody's audio coming in and out, or is it just mine?
You'll be coming in and out.
Yeah. In and out a little bit.
Yeah. I find it very hard to hear.
Ralph, I hate to suggest it, but you may want to try turning off your camera,
Turning what?
turning your camera off.
How do I do that?
You're in the lower left corner.
Oh, stop video?
Stop video, yep.
Me,
That
you
may
don't want to
help
look at
you
me
signal.
anymore, Chris?
Not that I don't.
All right.
That may help your signal
Thanks a
strength.
lot.
Yeah, no, I'll miss you, but just trying to help.
All right, to heck with you. See ya. Okay. Next up is Gallo, 3 Hallenbeck Hill, lot line adjustment. Who do we have here representing the Gallows?
Hi, I'm Kevin McGrath, land surveyor, and Mr. Gallo is here also. So I can start briefly. Mr. Gallo lives at number 3 Hallenbeck Hill, and he owns lot 10 in that subdivision. He also, his house is on lot 10. He also purchased a vacant lot, lot 9, next to him. So he's had that for many years. He is planning on selling his house and moving the house at number 3. And he asked me to check the location of his pool and to make sure where the property line really was, because he owned both lots and wasn't really sure exactly where the line was. After the survey, we discovered that the property line was right about on the edge of his pool inside the fence. So we had a couple of options: to move the line over about 20 feet to clear the pool, the fence, and make his house a little bit larger. His vacant lot would still have been viable as a building lot, and do a lot line adjustment. And the second option was he spoke with his neighbor at number 5, the Messier at number 5, and proposed to split the vacant lot between the 2 parcels. And so as you see on this map we have here, there's a kind of a natural hedgerow tree line between the 2, and they've agreed to take that lot, which is already an existing tax map number 167,466, eliminate it and merge a portion of it into each property. So both houses are, they're very nice houses, and this would only enhance the value of each house rather than leave that lot in between. So that's what they've decided to do, was to merge, split the lot, merge it, so that Mr. Gallo's house now at number 3 will increase from 2.3 acres to about 3.1. Mr. Messier's property will go from 2.9 to about 4.3, and eliminate the vacant land that's in between them now. So that's what we propose to do. And if you have any questions, or you can ask Mr. Gallo, would explain what his conversations with his neighbor.
Well, my neighbor, thank you, Kevin, and my neighbor has agreed to purchase the 1.4 acres as part of the, and basically we're eliminating the building lot that I've had for 25 years or so. And then, my current lot will be, as Kevin mentioned, will go to 3.12. We're downsizing and want to sell this house. I've been preparing to do that since the summer, getting everything ready. And so we're just waiting on the board, planning board's approval to go forward, and just basically combine, if you will, eliminate the building lot and increase my neighbor's lot, and a little bit less my own lot.
Okay. Kurt, any comments, questions?
No comments or questions.
Ms. Horn?
I'm good, thanks.
Mr. Conway?
Yeah, nothing on this one. I'm good.
Okay. Ms. Gill?
Yes, one question. I just make sure I understand. And so you're building, are you building a new house on this property, or no, you're going to be adjusting lot line and moving and selling?
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly right. No new building. We're eliminating the building lot.
Thank you.
Don, any questions?
Yeah, what was the square footage on each lot? What did it work out to be after they changed the line? I heard it, but I just wanted to hear it again.
So Mr. Gallo, his existing area is 2.34 acres.
Okay,
He's going to be getting 3.12. So his house at number 3 is going to increase.
So he's going down then, right?
No, he's going up. His house is 2.34 acres. He's increasing it to 3.12.
Okay.
His neighbor, the Messiers, they have 2.88 acres. They're increasing to 4.2 acres.
They're getting quite a bit more. Yeah,
they're both increasing their lots larger, and they're basically splitting this vacant lot between them. So both lots have existing dwellings. They're going to increase their lots, and the vacant lot's going to disappear.
okay, all right.
One other point I might make is from the existing lot line to where the proposed lot line is a pretty, particularly back but beyond the house, is a pretty steep hill. And then when you get to the natural tree line, the land becomes flatter going toward the Messier. So it's a nice, aesthetically, it makes sense. But no one's gonna, there's gonna be no building on it.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Okay. Adam, Anna, do we have any concerns at all?
Anna?
No concerns. Both lots meet the zoning standards, and obviously they're both increasing, so there's no question about variances needed or anything like that. I will just say I spoke with the neighbor Lauren Messier
Mhm. Yes.
on Monday, I believe, after she spoke with either Richard or Kevin McGrath. So we do just need a second, very minor technical follow-up, but we do need a second just approval document that she, is allowing Kevin McGrath to represent her for this lot line adjustment. So I'll follow up with you, Kevin, tomorrow via email. She was supposed to email that authorization form in. Otherwise,
Right.
Did Lauren or Jeremy submit, was one piece of paper, I can't think of the name of it now, that they had to sign, and she was, because I talked with her, she's gonna put on her phone number and things like that. Has that been submitted, or is that the piece of paper you're looking
That's what
for?
we're looking for. So she called on Monday and was filling it out as we were on the phone, just making sure it was correct. And then I gave her my email to submit it scanned, or she could drop it off. But I did never receive that scanned. So it's just something to follow up on.
I will get to it tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, it seems like it's a pretty straightforward lot line adjustment. I'd like to make a motion in regards to the Gallo lot line adjustment, 3 Hallenbach Hill. I'd like to make a motion for conditional approval based on the fact that this classifies this action as a type 2 seeker action in accordance with 6 CRR NY 6175, granting of individual setback and lot line variance and adjustments based on satisfying outstanding technical details as determined by town planning and zoning department, and that all remaining fees are to be paid to the town. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Can I ask a
Well-
question? Can I ask a question? What do we need to do in terms of the seeker? Is there paperwork we have to prepare, or how does that work? I mean, I'm just trying to figure when I can put the for sale sign, if you will, outside of my house, which somebody actually put in yesterday. It's the agent. So is there?
So for that, you're all set. It's basically just kind of dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Okay.
I'll reach out to Kevin about number of copies to drop off, hard copies to the planning board office or planning and zoning department. And then we'll sign them on behalf of the planning board. And then Richard will or Kevin will take them to the county, and then you're good and clear as far as paperwork goes. Nothing needs to be done by you for seeker.
Okay. Thank you.
Roll call as follows. Acting Chairman Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes,
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Ms. Gill.
Yes.
Motion carried by 6-0 vote.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Gallo.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much. Anna, if these are all, I'll speak with you tomorrow, and I'll bring you final copies to your office.
Great. I'll just let
Okay,
you know how many.
thank you.
Yep, you got it.
Thank you.
Okay, so continue on with new business. We have Shelley Salon at 2 East Greenbush Ave for site plan modification and lot line adjustment. I see we have Shelley here, and is that Nick Costa with us?
Yes, it is, Mr. Chairman.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about what you have in mind?
Sure. This is the site that's located at the corner of East Greenbush Avenue, Route 4, and it also has frontage on Harrington. It's a building that has been there for quite a long time. Okay, and Shelley's been operating out of there for, I think, about 15 years. Shelley, is that correct? Over 15 years?
Almost 16, yep.
16, okay. So she would like to make some improvements to the existing building and also to the existing site, and make it a little more friendly to her clients, and also improve the aesthetics of the building. And most of all is to provide convenient parking to her clientele. What we have shown on our site plan, and I don't know, Anna, I don't know if you have the
Yeah, do you have a preference? I know we have a couple different ones from you. Do you have preference which one I pull up? There's the aerial.
The aerial view would be great if you had that initially. So the existing building had a driveway. It still has a driveway that comes off of East Greenbush Avenue, very close to the very close to the corner here. I think you can see it underneath the green. There is an existing driveway, and then there's behind these tree symbols, you can see the vehicles that are parked there, and those are mostly Shelley's employees. What Shelley has done is she's reached out to the neighbor, and he's willing to transfer the parcel next to her parcel, and join it the way we've shown it here. The current clients utilize the entrance off of Harrington to come in, and this area right here is all Crusher Run, and this is where they park, and most of them come in. The main entrance is located right here. There is another entrance around the front here that some people use, but most of the clients come in at this location. So as you can see, we've shown on this map the improvement of the area with asphalt pavement and the delineation of 21 parking spaces. This site is located in the professional or personal/professional PPB zone of the town. The red line right here represents the zoning line. So this portion, the existing 2 Greenbush is in the PPB zone. This is actually in the R2 zone. This parcel right here that Shelley would like to merge with her parcel, and her parcel is about 14,000 square feet, and she's going to be gaining about 10,000, a little bit more than 10,000 square feet. So eventually she'll have a little more than half an acre in total once this is merged. This area right here that's being converted to parking is already utilized for parking purposes, and you can see some of the vehicles that are parked back here. So it's not a let's say a fully undeveloped parcel. And there is access off of Harrington and off of Greenbush for both parcels. Shelley does not intend to utilize the access off of Harrington. She would like to have the clients come in off of Greenbush Avenue and come around and park here. And maybe her employees would park in some of the, some of the further away, the farthest parking spaces. Maybe they would park back here. She would like to, make some improvements to the building. Also, we are showing a proposed ramp, handicap ramp, and also a small addition, which is really the vestibule. So handicapped persons can use this entrance. Handicapped persons currently have to use this entrance right here. And as you can see, this entrance is very close to the intersection of Greenbush Avenue and Route 4. So it's really not a good location for that driveway. So that's going to be eliminated. And Shelley would like to make this area, convert this area to a private area for her employees and also maybe some of her clients as they're waiting. She sees this area as being an amenity that they have a place to go on nice days and hang out, relax. So that's the proposal. The site is all within the green space requirements. It meets all of those. The other important thing to note about the site is that it's located over a very good soil, a very gravelly soil. So we intend on utilizing some dry wells and capturing the stormwater runoff and letting it go into perforated piping and dry wells so it can be recharged into the ground. It currently now pitches very, it's very flat, but if there wasn't any runoff from the site, it would go out to Harrington and also to a very good sized swale that's within the New York State DOT. We're not intending on utilizing that area for discharging. Like I said, we would like to utilize the valuable gravel that's below both of these parcels and infiltrate the stormwater runoff into the ground. Anna, do you have any of the pictures of the elevations of the building?
I don't remember seeing any come in. Did you submit some, or is it a?
No, I wasn't sure if Shelley shared those with you and Adam. Would it be possible for us to share them or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have them, or it's up to you, Nick.
Yeah, if somebody would allow me to share them, I would like to give those renditions. They're very early stages of the architectural renditions. I have an elevation that looks out to the view from Route 4, and also the view from the main entrance. What would become the main entrance to the building. But I would need to be able to share my screen or.
Yeah, Adam.
You should.
I don't know.
Yeah, you should be all set, Nick, and you're a co-host too.
Yeah.
I don't see the Adam. Let me check here. Yeah, here we go. I got it. All right. So let me go to my desktop. Yeah, so this was what we were looking at before. Let me. move this out of the way. Sorry about the delay. So this is the Route 4 elevation, of the building. This is the new entrance and vestibule that would be added to the building. Also, you can see some of the materials that are still in the conceptual stages that are being reviewed. This is the entry level from the client's parking area, the parking lot. And there's also a partial plan of the existing building that's shown in the dark lines. And this area right here, this is the entrance door, the current entrance door to the building. And here's the vestibule and the porch with steps down to the parking and the ramp down to the parking lot. So that ramp would be this ramp right here. That would get you down into the parking lot, and these are the steps. Those are pretty much the exhibits that we have for you tonight. Shelley, is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I think you covered everything. Thank you.
You're welcome. So if there are any questions, we'd be more than happy to try to answer those. So thank you for.
Appreciate that. Anna, could you put that, the site plan back up, please?
You want the aerial?
No, that's it. That's perfect. Thank you. I just have a few questions, Nick.
Sure.
In regards to the parking area, I don't see any any lighting. Is that something you intend on?
Oh yeah, we'll have lighting, of course. We've only developed the drawings to a certain point at this time. We're gonna have lighting. There's also gonna be details on the pavement, details on the drainage system, detail on the typical site details and landscaping. So yes, that's all to be developed and submitted.
And of course, the dumpster doesn't have an enclosure. So we're going to make sure that has an enclosure on it and possibly placed where it's screened from the highway.
Okay.
I don't know where you intend on putting it, but I always like to see the dumpsters hidden from the main thoroughfare if possible.
Okay. Yeah, we'll work on that. That's I think there's plenty of room on the site to find the location for it. That's a way now that she has that additional lot back here, over in this area. Yeah. This is pretty far away from the Route 4. Obviously, it's a little further away for the employees to use the dumpster, but the building screens a lot of it if it goes in some area, this area right here.
Yeah, well, it's great. I know, Shelley's been there quite a while, and I know she's built up quite a clientele, and driving by, I see her working there diligently, at night, and the parking lot's always full. So it's great to see that her business is thriving, and she's staying here in East Greenbush. So if there's anything we can do, we'd love to see the improvements.
Thank you, Ralph.
Start with Mr. Bergman. Any comments?
So Ralph, and everybody, Kurt had to, I think he chatted to everybody. Kurt had to drop off, Ralph.
Okay. Sorry, tells you how astute I've been. How about Mr. Panton? Don?
I'm okay with it, Ralph. I'm good.
John?
Can you hear me?
Questions, any comments?
Got a couple of questions here, and I guess I'd like to start with the part that's zoned R2. So the part that borders Route 4, right?
Yeah.
Currently, how many parking spots do you have on that lot?
They're not delineated, so I'm going to default to Shelley. Shelley, what do you probably get in there? About 12 cars in there, or no?
On the Harrington side, we can easily accommodate 16.
Oh, 16, okay.
And then on the Greenbush side, there's
Right.
always at least 4 employee parking there, plus a handicap parking.
Right.
Can they hear you?
Okay. And so this Greenbush Avenue and Harrington are both dead-end streets, is that correct? If I recall?
They are.
Yep. So you wouldn't get much through traffic coming through that lot from one
Correct.
street to the other.
And with this new proposal, there would be no through traffic over to Harrington. It would just keep it on Greenbush Avenue.
Oh, there wouldn't be an access from Harrington?
No.
into that lot?
There would not.
We've shown this strip of green space right here.
I see that now, yeah.
Yeah, yep, so.
And we talked about the dumpsters and all that, but you could also use some maybe vegetative barrier along the back line there towards the housing on the roads there, but.
Yeah, let me flip over to the aerial. As you can see, there's some very large trees that already exist in this area, and we're not going anywhere near those, and we're keeping those. And similarly, there is some vegetation along here. Obviously, I think that Shelley's going to want to supplement some of that, but we're not, we're trying to limit the amount that we would clear from the site.
Yeah. And parking would just be on the asphalt there, so you wouldn't have those cars parked where they are now on the.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
Okay. All right, I'm good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Horn, did I miss you, Chris? Any comments?
No, I think I'm good. I think the upgrades look very nice.
Good. Ms. Gill?
Yeah, I had a couple questions. And so you have about 20 parking spots now, and then this is increasing to how many parking spots?
It's 21 parking spaces. It's not a huge increase other than
Okay.
it's a huge improvement on the the walkability, and the neatness of it. And it's also, they're delineated. So it's similar to improving the building. Shelley wants to invest some money and make the whole package look good.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to look really nice. And I think that I agree with, I'm happy to hear, I think it's safer that other road, Greenbush Road, to have just that one entrance. The chiropractor moved across the street there, right? Is that on?
Yes.
You don't share any parking spots with them, right? She has her own separate?
Right now, yes, currently.
Yeah.
You are sharing, right?
Yeah.
No, we are not sharing currently. She does have access to the Ford Greenbush parcel. And I'm currently having my lawyer take a look at a agreement to allow access for the chiropractor should she still continue to need to use that for her own personal parking for a period of time, and then have an agreement that we can discuss going forward. And if she decides to leave the rental that she has right now, then that would be null and void, and we wouldn't need to move forward with that.
Okay.
Shelley does, I just want to make it clear, Shelley doesn't own this parcel yet. And the owner that has control of this parcel does have an agreement with, I think that Shelley, is the chiropractor a tenant of his?
Yes, she rents space there. Yeah. So Winter
Right.
does have an agreement to park her vehicle over there. And I have
Right.
absolutely no problem with that.
Adam, Anna, any comments? I know there might be some comments in regards to the drainage ditch or something, Adam, I read.
Yeah, thank you, Ralph. So just to kind of clarify what's going on with the two, 'cause what we'd be doing here is creating a split zone parcel. As the applicant mentioned, she would be acquiring that, what was it, 4 Greenbush?
Four, yes.
And that is zoned R2, which, you know, doesn't allow commercial uses, but it does allow parking, you know, off-street or garage, like essentially parking areas as an accessory use. So once the parcel is merged, the primary use, you know, would be the on that parcel would be the existing personal services, the salon business, and then the parking would be an accessory. So that's how that kind of merger would work. So a lot line adjustment would be part of this. It would be similar to the Hoffman car wash that the board looked at, considered back in 18 in terms of a site plan contingent upon a lot line adjustment to expand the site. I think there are 2 other things, and then maybe Anna would have other items. I guess one thing on the drainage, and maybe this is something we want to work with Nick on, and maybe just have some further discussions. Typically, we don't have right now, unfortunately, a town engineer to review that. So we don't really have anybody on staff who can review, you know, the dry well design and the calculations and all of that. So one thought to submit for the board's consideration would be to, you know, to onboard a consulting, a TDE, an engineer to, you know, with a very limited scope, you know, at least to my mind at this point, to just review that design to make sure that, you know, that it works, that, you know, and all of that. And then the second thing is, and this came up at project review team, I think the maximum parking for the business right now is like in the code was 10 or 11 spaces or so. So we're
14, Adam. We calculated as 14.
It was 14. Okay, so we're 6, 7 spaces beyond that, or no, 5 spaces. I'm sorry. There are, I guess, there are kind of 2 things. One is the board. The parking standards are pretty clear that there are only certain conditions under which the board can approve spaces larger than the maximum. One of them is bank parking, and I think we talked about that at PRT. The second thing, I guess which might be a little more interesting conversation is, Nick, do you know how much existing impervious is out there versus what you guys would be? I mean, are you talking a net reduction on the parcel of impervious?
Yeah, so it's a little, I can get you some better data, but I do have, I have what 2 Greenbush, the existing is paved is 49, green space is 39, and the building is 12%. When these get merged, as you mentioned, Adam, those percentages for paved, that drops to 40%. The green space increases to 53% or 52%, and the building reduces to a little less than 8%. So because of the merger, there is an increase. And remember, this area right here that's all gravel is
Right,
getting converted to green. So there is going to be an increase an increase in green and a decrease in impervious area.
That might be something for the board to consider in terms of looking at the whether or not to approve a parking lot that's larger than the maximum, permitted. One of the other ways that the board could do that is through pervious parking, like a pervious pavement.
Adam, the only issue, this would be pervious, you know, I consider this to be pervious because the runoff from it is being put into a system that'll infiltrate it into the ground. The issue with doing this amount of paving as a porous pavement is that it would really become I think it would become a nightmare because it's such a small amount of pavement that you don't want a small contractor to be handling porous pavement because it's a very, very specialized installation system. It can be handled by Cullinan and Reifenberg, you know, those guys. Those guys are not going to come and pave this, you know. So I think that, you know, if we're managing the runoff from the pavement into the ground, it's still taking advantage of the theory of infiltrating it into the local native pervious soils. So that's my opinion, Adam. But I don't think that she could afford that Shelley could afford to make this a porous pavement as it's detailed by the New York State design manual for porous pavement.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess I brought that up too, Nick, because what we're talking about here is ultimately a reduction in impervious surface across both the whole site. So
yes,
you know, it's almost better than, you know, there's an offset, right?
Yes, there is. It's almost 10%. Pavement alone goes from 49 to 40 percent. So it's that in itself is a substantial reduction.
Almost, yeah. I mean, given that, in regards to your comment, Adam, about hiring an engineer to review the drainage, I think we're asking a lot for a small site plan modification or change. Especially when we're reducing the pavement by 10%. I just hate to have an applicant go through that expense when it's not necessary. And unless you feel that we can't satisfy the drainage, but we've already decreased the pervious area by 10%. Going from 50% down to 40%, roughly, approximately.
Right.
Wow.
And currently, there's nothing in place that allows it to percolate and infiltrate into the ground. And for most of the year, it does exactly that because the soils are so good. However, during this time of the year, where we are in the frozen tundra, and next week it's going to be 50 degrees, and you get thaws. The runoff, from that, I'm certain that it goes out into Harrington and then goes out into the ditch, the roadside ditch that New York State DOT has. The idea of us putting in some dry wells is not only to capture the runoff, it also operates in the winter conditions because it breaks through the frost and allows to reach those good soils that are native to that site, and even in the wintertime they operate as intended.
One other thing just to raise for the board, the PPB zone is really kind of it's an attempt to mix, residential and smaller scale commercial. So, one of the if you look at the zoning requirements, the the requirements pay particular attention to scale and context and all of that. And, you know, and I think there's a stipulation in there if a site is being rehabilitated or that, you know, there's focus on the size of the building. I think it's a maximum of 3,000 square feet, limiting the number of the use to a parking space demand of, I think it says something like 10 or less. You know, one of the things just to bring up for the board is, you know, how to keep the context in mind, right? You know, what you're talking about is you know, there's a fairly large parking lot, you know, which is good, as Nick mentioned, is going to be, you know, organized and paved and all of that and striped. You know, it's that just for, you know, the board is empowered in the PPB zone also to require additional landscaping or other measures to address the scale, context, neighborhood, you know, environment, you know, and landscape. So just, you know, just for the board to kind of keep in mind relative to the PPB and where we are. I mean, we're very close to, you know, residential, you know, this half the parcel would be a residential zone.
So if I'm not mistaken, tonight we're just accepting the sketch plan, correct, Adam?
Yeah, that's the intent. And I think Ralph, maybe Nick and Shelley can weigh in terms of how they what they plan to do with the intervening time between their next appearance.
Yeah, well, I'll go first, and Shelley
Okay.
can certainly chime in. We are waiting on some field work that's being conducted so that we can do the design of the site, the grading and the erosion and sediment control and the storm sewer design. That's really, you know, where and I'm not sure of that schedule. We're not doing that surveying work. You know, there was another professional that's been involved with the project, and he's in charge of that. I think that he's going to obviously get to it as soon as he can, and we will. You know, we'll need a little bit of time to put the package together to, you know, come back for site plan, you know, the site plan review and site plan approval. So I'm not saying that we're going to be back in 2 weeks. Shelley, I hope I didn't offend you by that, but
no, not at all. Actually, the intention for this for me was to see if the planning board was open to this type of project. The purchase was contingent upon approval of this type of work and to make sure that the R2 area parcel would be able and be available to me to have this type of project done. Once we do get that approval, I can go to George Baylog. He agreed to that purchase. Once that deed title is transferred over, then RDM would be able to come in and do all of the work that Nick had just talked about.
So I hope that answered it. We're not looking at coming back in 2 weeks, Adam. There's a little bit of time for that base mapping to get assembled, and then we have to take it over and you know, put it together. But we'll definitely keep you posted. You and Anna posted on as we get closer to knowing a milestone of when we can submit.
Okay. So Adam, I guess tonight we're not taking any action, right? This was just for discussion only?
I think, Anna, we had a sketch plan resolution, correct?
There is a resolution, our motion, first to classify as type 2 under seeker, just to get that going. And then second is just to accept the sketch plan, just to, again, keep the process moving for them.
And I think that would help Shelley with going back to the neighbor to process the merging of the parcels.
Does the board have any other questions? Any other comments? Do we all feel comfortable making a motion to accept the sketch plan? Nobody shouting out at me, okay? Alrighty, in regards to Shelley's Saloon, Salon, sorry, Salon,
Good location.
Greenbush Avenue. I'd like to make a motion to accept the sketch plan. This classifies this action as a type 2 seeker action in accordance with 6 CRR NY 617.5, construction or expansion of primary, accessory, and non-residential structure or facility involving less than 4,000 square feet, blah, 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 blah. And also accepts the sketch plan dated December 2nd, 2021, last revised January 4th, 2022. Are those dates correct, Nick?
They are.
Prepared by Advanced Engineering. Can I have a second?
Ralph, I'll second it.
Thank you.
Roll call as follows.
Please.
Acting Chairman Viola. Okay, did you guys?
Roll call?
Yep, Acting Chairman Viola,
Yes.
Ms. Horn, Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Ms. Gill,
Yes.
motion carried by 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Good luck.
See you soon.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you. Okay. Glad we had a short meeting tonight.
Good job,
There aren't
Ralph.
any.
Good job, Ralph.
Yeah, thank you. I see there aren't any referral reports, no recommendations, new ZBA, no new ZBA referrals. I guess one of the last things of business tonight is to review and approve the meeting minutes of December 22nd. Allison, can everybody vote?
Everyone except you, Ralph.
Okay. I was cooking that night. How's that?
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. Roll call
Somebody's gonna make the motion first and then
or
we need a second.
approval? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that would help. I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of December 2019, or I should say 2021. Second.
I'll second.
I heard John Conway. Roll call as follows. Acting Chairman Viola.
Yes. No, abstain.
Abstained, yep. Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Ms. Gill,
Yes.
motion carried by 4-0-1 vote.
Ralph,
Thank
can I
you.
ask
I
one
guess
more thing?
we do have some other business in regards to our MS4 training. Adam, Anna, any update on that or something we
Yeah,
got
so
to
we were
discuss?
to change the date. Previously, we talked about the first meeting in February. That's what we had discussed, I think, back in December. But things obviously were shifted. So now, as you just approved those two public hearings, it'll be a busy first meeting in February. So we're proposing the 23rd is the second meeting, and that's the preference of Wayne Bonesteel. Depending on availability of everybody, what the agenda looks like, that would be the preference. just putting it out there, the 16th would be a special meeting. That's not a planning board meeting date. So those are just two options. Just thoughts offhand.
I'm sorry, Ann, I'm having a little trouble hearing you. You're saying the 16th to have a special meeting to do the training is the other option?
That would be the other option, yes.
Or wait until the following week?
Right. Which.
Yeah, I'm not available the 16th.
So that's we don't know what the planning board agenda will look like for the 23rd. Hopefully we can keep it light, but obviously it can't be guaranteed,
Yeah, I'm not available the 16th either.
So we'll shoot for that second planning board meeting in February.
Does that work? Does that currently work for the rest of the board?
What's the date again?
It's the 23rd. It's a schedule. I'm sorry, go ahead, Anna.
Yeah, like you said, it's a scheduled planning board meeting. So hopefully you don't have any conflicts, or there would still be enough of you for quorum.
Okay, 23rd of February will be the training too, right? Okay.
Okay, everybody good with that?
I'm good.
I guess I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second that.
Roll
Roll
call as
call.
follows. Acting Chairman Viola,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Ms. Gill.
Yes.
Motion carried by 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Ralph.
Appreciate everybody's
Thanks,
patience.
Ralph. Good
Did a
job.
great
Okay.
job, Ralph.
Thanks, Ralph.
Good night. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night, Ralph.
Take care
Thank
now.
you.
Night, everyone.
Hey, Allison?
Ralph, did you
Yeah,
need? Yeah, let me turn off the stream here.
Hey, Ralph, out of curiosity, did that make a difference when you turned your camera off?